The thing that made the Sega CD Spider-Man vs. Kingpin so special is the animated cutscenes, which we hadn't seen in a Spider-Man game before.
These are the New York offices of the Daily Bugle, where young Peter Parker is employed as a freelance photographer. Peter's work on this large daily newspaper has brought him into contact with some of the more unsavory characters that roam the streets of the city.
Boy, what an ugly bunch. The nastiest batch of criminals in the world, and New York's got them. Lucky thing, they've also got Spider-Man.
Jesus, no offense to this voice actor, but this just cements how iconic Rino Romano's voice acting is.
Only Peter's wife, Mary Jane, knows his extraordinary secret. That he is not merely the pleasant and conventional young man he seems.
Mary Jane.
Hi, Tiger.
Hi, honey. What's up?
I was just on my way to the studio to tape today's episode of Secret Hospital. Thought I'd stop by and get a kiss, if you're not too busy, of course.
Now there's something I'm never too busy for.
That ought to keep me happy until dinner. See you then?
Yep. See you tonight.
Help!
That woman. What the? She's being attacked.
When trouble arises, as it does so often, Peter Parker is no longer just an ordinary newspaper photographer, but something else entirely. Something with the strength, endurance, and power of...
Looks like it's time to call on your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
So yeah, the cutscenes are a little cursed. The faces are a little crazy. Spider-Man has this insane jawline under his mask. It's something I had never seen in a game made in 1993, I'll put it that way. It also follows the Sega and Super Nintendo's direction of having banger soundtracks though.
Officer, that nice young man in the long underwear saved my purse and all my money.
Good work, Spider-Man. It's a good thing you came along when you did. You're the best friend this city ever had.
The police being extra nice to Spider-Man, that surely can't be foreshadowing of what's about to happen.
I'm just glad you're on our side.
I was just doing my job, officer. Happy to be of help.
Young man, I don't know what I would have done without you, but you really shouldn't run around in public dressed like that.
Yes, ma'am. I'll keep it in mind.
Goodbye, Spider-Man.
That young man is a real hero.
He certainly is, ma'am. I don't know what this city would do without him.
Let's see what's on TV.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled broadcast to present this special emergency report from Wilson Fisk, a concerned citizen and one of our city's leading businessmen. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fisk.
Kingpin.
What do you suppose he's up to now?
Whatever it is, it's bound to be bad news for New York. And for Spider-Man.
Fellow citizens of New York, it is my painful duty to make you aware that a monstrous crime has been perpetrated against us by a man we thought was our ally. It has come to my attention that Spider-Man has turned renegade against the forces of law and order.
Hey, that was back when Jonah had everyone convinced I was a crook. And I didn't hurt those cops.
He is perpetrating one monstrous crime after another, all across our city.
But I never did that.
Oh, my poor doggy.
And now he has devised the most ghastly crime of his career. He has planted a bomb that will explode in exactly 24 hours, destroying the entire city.
I certainly never did that.
I am offering a reward of $500,000 for Spider-Man's capture, in hopes that he can be forced to reveal the location of the bomb before it is too late. We must protect ourselves from the super criminal Spider-Man.
Peter, what are you going to do?
If there's really a bomb, it'll be Kingpin's doing. I'll have to find it and disarm it in the next 24 hours.
But the police are gonna think you're the criminal.
Don't worry about that, Mary Jane. The police know I'm on their side.
I want an all-points bulletin issued for the arrest of Spider-Man.
Consider it done, sir. Who'd have thought Spider-Man would turn on us? Now we're going to have to turn this city upside down to find him before that bomb goes off. Let's get on it.
Well, that didn't last long. One of the major ways that the Sega CD changes it up from the original release is you have this map, and you can choose the stages. There's boss stages, and then there's these mini stages. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play, maybe one to any of the mini stages after I figured out you could just do the boss stages. While figuring out the controls, I died, and I found out there are animated cutscenes even for death.
This man has been hurt, officer. I don't care what you say he's done. I can't let you disturb him until his condition stabilizes.
Okay, Doc, but sooner or later that mask has got to come off.
On my second attempt, I went with the Doc Ock stage first because I knew that was the first stage that you did in the original game that was more linear. Traversing the stage is relatively easy with tons of life and web regions throughout, but when you get to Dr. Octopus is where you really see where this game shines, and it's the boss design, like the actual artistic design of the boss. All these bosses are just so beautiful. I think it's by far the best looking bosses we get in a video game for a long time. Like a long time. Way better than any of the other Sega or Super Nintendo games for sure. I think how cool the bosses look might be an overall detriment to the quality of the fights, boss fights, because they are very hard until you figure out how to fight the boss, and then incredibly, I mean embarrassingly easy once you figure out how to kill them. Some of them just are incredibly easy to begin with. Now there's a cutscene after defeating every boss. They're all very cool cutscenes, but I'm not going to include them all because this video would be like an hour long if I did. The video is already running super long because I included those first two cutscenes. I chose to do the Sandman level next, and while I hadn't noticed it yet, I want to direct your attention to the time down at the bottom right corner. Now I had just been willy-nilly clicking continue, thinking that, oh, finally, a game that doesn't have a maximum number of continues. What I didn't know is this timer would become very important as it counted down, which I hadn't started noticing that it did yet. I just need to point out again how cool this is for a game that was made this long ago. Like him rising from the sand, all the bosses, they're all just, it's whoever did the design work for this is just was new. I can't speak. It's peak. It's probably the easiest boss fight also because it telegraphs the fire hydrant at the beginning of the stage, so you pretty much just drag him back to the beginning of the stage and then wet him. Pretty easy to guess this is the lizard stage because we're in a sewer. Sadly, like I explained earlier, while the bosses look incredibly cool, the actual mechanics to beating them are incredibly easy. To the point where you don't even have to web him here, you can just back up, go forward, punch, back up, go forward, punch. You could probably even not back up. You could probably just wait till he comes up, punch as he gets close, and repeat. He turns into Kurt Connors here, gives you the key, turns back into the lizard immediately, and then you go back into fighting him again, and you think you're like, okay, so that was phase 1. Phase 2 is actually gonna be hard, but no, you just do the same thing over again. It's like, what? I beat 3 bosses now, so I was like, you know what? It's time for Electro. Well, he flies and he's hard. Also, you get to see the other death cutscene here. Make sure to keep looking at that timer down at the bottom. Electro maybe still is it's either him or Hobgoblin that's the hardest of the bosses, probably. I attribute that solely to the fact that they can fly. Vulture can also fly, but as long as you hit him right as he's coming at you, he's an easy boss. Now Hobgoblin, on the other hand, was very annoying, as you can see with the little bit of time I have left. He's also super cool looking. Biggest thing this game has going for it, other than how cool the designs are, is that it's not afraid to use all of Spider-Man's coolest villains. They said, hey, let's put Venom in here too. Also making it to where you have to ring the bell to mess with Venom and not just having it a straight up fight, it's just the best designed. I hate to say it, it's the best designed out of any of the games of its era. After beating all the bosses, you finally unlock a map on the stage that has Kingpin as the face. But instead of just using the keys to stop the bomb and save now kidnapped Mary Jane, I should have mentioned that. Mary Jane has been kidnapped by Kingpin. You have to do a boss gauntlet where you have to refight all of the bosses again. Also didn't record me fighting Mysterio the first time for some reason, but he's super easy. You just literally punch him as he appears. Next two fights suck super bad because you have to fight Electro, then Hobgoblin Run right after the other. And the reason I said to check the time, I found out if I do keep dying, then the nuke explodes and it's all your fault, and that's when the game over. You go to the credits screen, have to restart the game. Do a final fight with Venom, which is laughably easy. And after not figuring out how to disarm the bomb for about, I don't know, forever, you finally figure out you use the keys on the start menu and put them in the key slots. After the bomb is defused, all that's left is fighting Kingpin and saving the girl. While Kingpin, like most bosses in this game, are pretty easy, you do feel the weight of his punches, and you know if you would have got caught up in those punches, it would be devastating.
Mary Jane is unconscious, but she'll be okay. Once the cops dispose of Kingpin, I'll get her out of this place. There's your real criminal, officers. You'll find his bomb in the other room, disarmed with the keys I took from his henchmen.
We have a lot to thank you for, Spider-Man.
And a lot to be ashamed of. To think we believed you were the bad guy.
Mistakes happen, guys. The important thing is, we're all on the same team.
This is all very touching, but you're wasting these officers' time, Spider-Man. My lawyers will have me out by dinner time.
Justice is never a waste of time, Kingpin.
Hi, Tiger. I knew you'd show up in time.
Well, I didn't want to be late for dinner.
After all these years, Spider-Man's finally gonna be behind bars, where he belongs.
You know, maybe you shouldn't have been in such a hurry to print that headline, Jonah. We don't have all the facts yet.
Mr. Jameson, the city desk said to hold that special edition and reprint the front page. Spider-Man's innocent.
What? No! He can't be! Oh, he's fooled them again!
And that is the end to, dare I say, the best of the Sega and Super Nintendo Spider-Man games. I do want to add one other little thing about the ending. The ending does have 3 different ending scenes. There is an ending scene where you lose to Kingpin, and instead of getting to try over again, Kingpin kills you and Mary Jane. I'm going to show you that version of the ending right now.
Looks like you've crawled your last wall, Spider-Man. It was bound to come to this someday. What a lovely couple you make. A shame I didn't bring my camera, but I'll always remember you just like this. Goodbye, Spider-Man. I'm going to miss outsmarting you.
Yeah, super cursed ending. There's also another cursed ending where you're just so bad at the game that you somehow live, but you take so long jumping around and hiding that Mary Jane does actually get lowered all the way into the acid. So when you do beat Kingpin, she just is dead, and it's like a somber Spider-Man that's sad and depressed because his wife is dead, but he saved the day. But let's get to the real reason that we're here today. to see how good this game is. I had never played this game as a kid. It was a little too early for my time. Plus, I also don't hear about it as much as for sure Maximum Carnage, and then Separation Anxiety I at least heard about. I never knew this game existed until I started this whole thing. I think old heads do remember it. Maybe a lot of younger people too. I don't want to call you all old heads, sorry. But the fact of the matter is I'd never heard of this game, and I was pleasantly surprised by a lot. I thought this game was going to be bad. I was like, alright, it originally released in 1991. How can it be good? And I honestly think it's way better than both Maximum Carnage and Separation Anxiety. For sure better than Separation Anxiety. It's not as hard as Maximum Carnage by any means, but it's everything about it I think is better. So if you haven't watched one of my videos before, let me go over real quick. My rating system is amazing, spectacular, great, good, nostalgia, and trash. And for this one, this is probably my hottest take ever. Maybe it's the newness talking, but it sure as hell ain't nostalgia because I don't remember this game. I'm gonna give this, and I've already, by the way, by the time of recording this, I've played multiple other Spider-Man games that I don't remember playing or haven't played before, and none of them made me feel like this. The main thing here is that character design. The cutscenes are cool, insanely cool for how old this game is. But the main thing is those villain designs are so well done. And I think I have to, I'd be crazy not to put this in amazing. I think this will be our first game that I will put in amazing. So now that's the end of the video, let me do my little spiel. How do you feel about this game? Did you play it as a kid? Did you play it as an adult? How do you like it? Tell me. Maximum Carnage is way better, I don't know. But if you can, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Yeah. And I will see you in the next video where I will be going over the PS2 movie Spider-Man games.